Art students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And this one we're going to be doing arms. And this one is slated more for the beginner, the very beginner who's having trouble drawing arms. With just 3 shapes, I'll teach you how to draw arms, and you'll be drawing arms like a professional after this video. Almost like a professional after this video. But it's very simple and easy, 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 easy. All right, so let's go get going so you can start drawing your arms. All right. All right, and welcome back to another video. Now this one is going, yeah, that's English. This one is going to be on arms. This is for the beginner who's trying to learn how to draw the arms. You're having a lot of difficulty drawing arms. I'm going to show you how to draw in this one video. Now, we're not going to get any advanced stuff because if you're just a beginner, then you're struggling. So I'm going to make it very, very simple for you to draw arms. You might not be able to get all the muscles in there right now, but you will have the arms right and basically in proportion and lengthwise and so forth and so on. Firstly, I want to grab something. I want to apologize for the last video I had because it was really, really bright because of my new setup. My videos used to be dark because it's dark in this room. I don't know why it won't get any real good light, but my son bought me a light. It's a setup. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And it has multiple different layers of lights or levels of lights. And I didn't know that it was so intense until I looked at the video. And this is what it looks like. This is the rig. It's above. It's this light. I guess I should clean my mirror. And it holds the camera. It holds my phone within. Inside the circle, which is a light. Let me cut the light off just for a second. And you might be able to see it again. Okay, so this is what I have. This is my phone, what I film with. And this is a light, and this is just PVC pipes that I have across my little thing that I built. So when I turn the lights on, it gets crazy bright. Yeah, so it was like really reflecting on this. So let me get a different light, a darker kind of light, and hopefully it won't be as bad as the last video because it was like so bleached out. It was like really crazy. All right, so I said I'm not going to ramble. I'm going to get straight to the point. But I just want to apologize if you saw that last video with the toy review. That was bad. All right, so arms. First thing you want to do, let me draw a quick figure. And I'm not going to get really into the rest of the body parts, just the arms. Just maybe a little bit of hand. I'm going to show you a little bit of hand, and I'll get to hands later. Because I wonder, I'm gearing toward those who are just starting. They figured out they want to draw, and they're just starting. So don't play around, phone. And I know my pencils were really my pencils were really light as well. So first thing you have to know is this part. And this part here and this part here are the same length. Let's just say if this was 12 inches, this would have to be 12 inches. I mean, it's more than 12 inches, but this so that you won't draw your character with like this long and this short, and then there's his hand right there. It's got to be the same length. So that's the most important part right there. Okay, now secondly, if your bicep, let's say, if you turn your arm up, okay, let's just say, here's your delt, this is your delt, this is your bicep, tricep, and this is the forearm. There's so many muscles on that thing, it's just ridiculous. You want to play now, what is it, the light? I don't know, let's see what's going on. Yeah, so however you turn your hand is going to determine where your bicep is going to be at. Your bicep could be at the top or it could be at the bottom. It just kind of like rotates. So if you lift your hand up, let's just do this. Let's say here's your torso, here's your arm right here. If you lift your hand up, your bicep is going to be at the top like that. If you take your arm and you let it down like that, your bicep is going to drop to the bottom. So basically, where your thumb is going to be where your bicep is going to be. Draw, Brian. If your thumb is, how can I explain that? I don't use my arm. It's just if my thumb, and I don't think I can fit in it. If my thumb is here, if I turn my thumb up, my bicep is coming up. If I turn my thumb down, my bicep is going down. So just remember that. However you rotate your arm, because I've seen some people who had the biceps that was wrong. You know, the arm was down, but the bicep was up. So you just have to remember that. If you rotate your arm up, your bicep is going to come up. If you rotate your arm down, your bicep is going to go down, and you're going to see your triceps. Now, clean sheet of paper. Everything I show people, I try to show them in shapes. A lot of people will just draw and expect you to get it. I show you in shapes because we do shapes every day. We do A, B, C, D, E. If you're from America and you write, English, thank you, camera. This is basically a triangle. That's a circle. This could be a circle. This could be a square. So don't say you cannot draw. If you write, you can draw. Even some of the, like the Korean and Chinese characters. What is with you, camera? What are you not liking? Is it that particular light? Let's cut it off and find out if you're going to do any better. Hopefully the video won't go dark on me, too dark on me. Yeah, okay, so anyway, everything I show you is a shape. You write all day, so you can do shapes. People say, oh, I can't draw a stick figure. Yes, you can. It's just, and I'll get into that later. I'll get into that later. So what was I saying? You have 3 shapes to work with. You have your circle, you have an oval, and you have a triangle. I mean, those are simple shapes you can work with. And your triangle is going to be sideways. Triangle. All right. Now, the hard part is putting these together. Remember, these 2 are going to be one. This one is going to be one. This is going to be your forearm. This is going to be your bicep, tricep, and this is going to be your delt. Remember, this is your delt. Let's get a bigger pen. This is your delt. Am I still focused? I'm unfocused again. Oh my God. Do I have to redo this video completely? It's got to be something. I don't know what that something is, but if it keeps doing it, I'll redo the video. I know it's when I pull paper, it doesn't work. Stay on track. You have your delt, you have your bicep, tricep, and you have your forearm, which is a ton of muscles in this thing here. In that, so I'm not, so I can't say it's just one muscle is called this, but it's just a bunch of muscles in there. So you have 3 sections to the arm. Actually, if you want to put 4, but this is going to be one piece. 3 sections to the arm. These 2 and this one are the same. Cutting it off at the wrist, okay? Let's see if you're going to blur on me. Happy days. All right. Just keep looking at the monitor. So here is my torso again. Here's my head. Here's my neck. The circle is going to be your delt. Now, let me explain how these hook to your torso. This is your torso. This is your chest. This is your stomach. Okay, this is your abs. For those beginners who just don't get it, you have your collarbone. Collarbone comes all the way across and off of it stops right at the edge of your torso. On top of that, or underneath that, is going to be your delt. Now, hooked to your delt is your bicep, tricep, and then your forearm, like that. Okay, so basically you're doing this. You have your delt, the circle, and I'm just going to start calling it a circle, oval, and triangle. Your circle is like this. You have your collarbone on the other side. You have your other circle delt. Okay, so that's what we're going to work with. And in the middle, of course, you have your oval, which is your circle, oval, which is your torso. Another piece of paper. Let's see if you're going to blur on me. Oh, there you go. I got you. I was looking. All right, so three shapes. Circle. Looks like you're trying to blur again. Connect your oval to your circle and then your triangle right on the end of that. Remember, this triangle has to be as long as that. Now what you want to do for the triangle is cut it right here. Now this is where your hand is going to go. So you're going to cut that. Just imagine where your wrist is. Okay, these three shapes, we're going to use these three shapes. And the hard part is like taking them and turning them around and twisting them and bending them. But if you continue to do this on a daily basis, just pick up a piece of paper and draw these shapes and twist them and turn them the way I'm going to do it. And then you'll eventually get it. You'll eventually get it. So if you take a snowman, let's say here's your snowman, right? And this is an example I kind of tend to use a lot because it's easier and simple and everybody understands what a snowman is. So if you stack those, and I'm looking right at it, this is what it's going to look like. Now if I take these, maybe I need to pull my camera over. I pulled it close to me. If you take these and you reverse them and you stack them in reverse, having the big, the medium, and the small, that's what it's going to look like. Now if you turn this over, if you looked at it from the top, if you looked at it from the very top, all you're going to see is this, that big snowball right there, because it's going to cover these other two. If you looked at this from the top, you're going to have the small one, the medium one, and the large one, just like that. So if you looked at it from an angle, you're going to have the small one, the medium one, and the big one. And this is the same thing you have to do with these things. So if I took this big snowball here and I'm looking at it from an angle, you'd have the big one, you'd have the medium one, and then you would have the small one. So you're going to have to be able to manipulate these shapes to see them from different angles, especially when your arm is bent, because your arm is not always going to be straight, or it's not going to be doing the muscle position, which would be this. Simple shapes, simple shapes. Cut it off at the wrist, do your fist. Now, the one thing about this is you're going to bring this in. In the beginning, if you can't round it off, just kind of make another invisible triangle. So for something like this, it's going to continue and go down like that. I mean, you're kind of seeing the shape of it already. By me putting the hand on this thing, you're seeing that arm. So with just these three shapes, if you can manipulate these three shapes, it will be so simple for you to draw an arm. Now, as I said, this is going to be the hard part. Now, this is this is thicker here because there's a muscle that comes over. So if I drew an arm, put me on a spot here. I'll say this is my fist. This is my fist. And it's hard for me to just draw a position. I have to think about it before I can draw it. This is the forearm right here. Now there's a muscle that comes around over here. This is why you have that lump. There's a muscle that comes around and it actually goes toward the thumb. And then you have your bicep and then your tricep here. And that fist is wrong because I'm, like I say, just to draw a position. That fist would be, get off of that. So you're going to have, whenever you draw forward, let's just say what? Let's just say, okay, this is my fist forward, like he's got a gun or something in his hand. You're going to have this triangle, cutting it off, triangle, and you're rounding the triangle off. Whenever you go over top of that triangle, here's a triangle. Flat on the ground. When you look at it from above, it's going to look like this with the point. It's a triangle. So when you angle it, it's going to look like that. Start to angle it, it's going to look like that. So what I'm saying is there is a muscle that comes and goes around. We'll get into that in a minute. But this is why it has this lump right there. And I said there's a muscle here, and there's a muscle there, and a muscle there, and a muscle, and each one of them has a different name to it. New sheet of paper. How about we turn it over? All right, hopefully this won't come out too dark. Now you want to unfocus on me. I don't know if my lens is dirty or there's something in the way to keep this from seeing what it needs to see, or if I need some light on. It just took my whole train of thought away when I was doing this. All right, go back. Just go back a step. Triangle. I turned it over. The triangle. You have to learn to manipulate these shapes. Triangle. If you start to flip it up, let's just say if this, I don't have any triangles. I don't think I own any triangles. Let's just say this is the triangle. As you start to flip it up like this bottom is going to get round, just like this is flat, but it's round. If I turn it this way, same thing with the triangle. As you turn it up, the bottom is going to start rounding off, and you're going to get that point. The more you turn it up, the more rounder it's going to get. The more you're going to get that point, and it's not going to be as long. Got to keep making sure on the monitor. And until you have this, and there's your point right there. So this is going to be the front of your arm. Cut this off, you have your hand. So just remember, this is going to be the front of your arm. So if I'm going to draw an arm, here's my arm in shape time. Cut that off. Here's my hand. If I'm going to lift that arm up, this triangle, just like that big snowball, snow. I need an alarm on this camera that's telling me that it is blurring, because I'm trying to draw and not. Where did the snowball go? Right there. Same way as this. The more you lift it up, the less of everything else you're going to see. So if I'm lifting this arm up. Let's do this. Let's do one straight down. Circle, oval, triangle. Okay, now I'm going to lift that up. Now, it's easy to manipulate the circle because the circle is going to stay a circle no matter how you look at it. This is going to turn more into a circle. It's going to get more narrower and more rounder like a circle. And this I just showed you. So if I'm lifting this up, it's going to be like this. This oval is going to be, and this oval is going to come, let's just say put the oval right here on the tip of this circle. So here's my circle, here's my oval on the tip, and here is my triangle. So as this comes up, the same way that snowball, I don't want to flip that over again. This is going to start to come into that shape like this. And the same way for the triangle. Remember, once you start pointing it up, it's going to be round. And the more you lift it up, and I'm going from the back, which I should start from the front, but I'll just deal with it. The more you lift it up, and see, then I should have done the triangle. The more it's going to cover those shapes. So if I did this from the front, I'll do this one again. Here is my triangle being lifted up. Here is my bicep. And here is my delt. Each shape is going into the other shape until I have, let's do this. I said put the point right here. You see just a little bit of bicep and just a little bit of the delt, like that. So with this triangle, what you want to do is you want to cut. Remember, you're cutting at the wrist. So as this is round, this has to be round too. As this is round, this has to be round too. So you'll end up with your arm shape. And let me show you. Remember, this has got to go back. No matter how much of an angle it is. So it would be like this. You'll have this, your bicep, and then your delt like that, and then you have your hand. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? And you see it has the shape of an arm. You don't need to put all the extra muscles in there and all that. Not in the beginning anyway. You don't need all that. You just need to get the actual shape. If you look at anime has like the most realistic shapes because they don't put all the muscles in there, but they do know where to put the curves at when they're doing a body part. You curve it here, comes down, and here comes out, a piece of the elbow like that. They know exactly how to do that to make it look realistic. We, the Westerners, we like to make the big bulging muscles and so forth and so on. But once you get this ability down, then you're good to go. So let's practice some actual almost drawing. Of course, you're going to do that. It's just feeling really bad today. I don't know, because it usually doesn't blur on me this much. So basically, I'm just going to try to figure out some arm positions, and I'm going to do it in the shapes, and then maybe turn those shapes into the actual arm to show you how simple it is. All right, so start out with my torso. Let's just say if that's my line, this is my this is this, and then my triangle is like this. Let's say this is this circle. This is my oval, and then my triangle is coming out like this. How about another one? How about we have this, and let's just say the head is here, and this is going to be the circle, this is going to be the oval, and this is going to be the triangle. So same thing, just circle, oval, and triangle. Now that depends. If you're aiming at someone, if you are, let's just say this guy's flying. I'll do another one. Here's his head. Here's his chest. Here's his circle. I don't want to say the depth. This is a circle, and depending on how much the arm is pointed at you, determines on how much of your front shape is going to cover up your back shapes. So the best thing to do is do your triangle first. So if I do my triangle, let's just say this is going to be point. Here's my triangle. And here is my bicep. Like that. Again, just say here's my bicep and here's my triangle. And that's almost a circle itself, but this is the point right here. Now the point is important because you need to know where the end is, because this is where your wrist is going to go. You cut that off, and that's where your wrist is going to go. So let me do another one before I cut the rest of the wrist off. I'm trying to think of what's a good position, arm position. As I say, it's hard for me to just think of off the fly, positions off the fly. How about this? This, and then this. It's like a folding position. The arms folded. Same thing. Circle, oval, and triangle. Of course, one triangle would go under the other. One would go on top of the other. Because that hand goes down here and the other hand comes up here. And I will ink that to make so you can see it better. Well, let me ink it now because it leads to something else I want to say. So you're going to have this circle, your bicep, and then your forearm. Remember I said that one shape, and then you just cut it off where you want that hand to go. And that hand can be right here. There's my thumb, is going to be right there. Same thing here. You have your circle, your bicep, tricep, and then this, which is going to be rounded off. Here's my elbow. We're going to round this off like that and cut it off where you want your hand to be. And my thumb is going to be here. Already you can see you're drawing the arm. So the one thing is this comes down and it goes into your chest. This curves there. This is going to be like this, which is fine. So here we have, I always start with the front. Let's say this is my wrist right here, and I'll put my hand here for whatever reason. Here's my thumb, and here's my wrist here. This is my hand, palm, palm. That's where my finger's gonna go, and this is gonna be my thumb. So what I have here is this, it comes in there, I have the bicep there, and then I have my delt right there. And it goes, this comes down and forms the chest. Again, we have this, it's gonna come down and form the chest, that bicep, and then we have the arm. Okay, Brian, put some fingers on the thing. I wasn't gonna do hands, but if it makes it easy for you to see. And of course, we have that line, as I say, it's connected by that bone, that collarbone. And this one, we have this delt connected to that collarbone. We have the bicep, tricep, and then we have this part right here that goes up under, this part right here that comes from there. And then you're gonna have that oval again, and then you're gonna have that circle. Oh, and this cat here, same thing, except he's more, you'll see more, you'll see less bicep and delt. You have this, this. You'll see just a little bit of that bicep, and then here's your delt. Remember, that comes down into the chest. So we get this, comes to the collarbone, the other part comes down to the chest. You're gonna see a little bit of that bicep, and then you're gonna see that forearm. You cut that, do that circle, and you put your hand right there. However you wanna put your hand. I'm just drawing the two bottom parts of the palm because that's gonna be probably one of the next things I show you is how to do the hand. And it's just, you got this round piece of flesh. Let me see if I can show you from the bottom. You have this round piece of flesh, this round piece of flesh, and the thumb connects to this other piece of flesh here. That's the best way to start when you're doing hands. However you're gonna do your hands, it's like that, and you have that. You turn that into a square, and remember your thumb connects to this. However you're going to do your thumb. And then you can square that off, and your fingers go right in there. But when you're drawing, when you first start drawing, if you have trouble with hands, just do that little square and then do your thumb some way. Do that, you know, if you can see the palm, think about the position, and then do your thumb. And then that's it for now. Just leave this flat or rounded. And then you can throw your fingers. Your fingers are just 3 joints. You know, just that's all. I usually just do 2 in comics because this little joint here is so small. Usually it kind of like blends in with this whole piece. So just do 2 joints. Unless you're doing a really close up of a hand, then you need to do all 3, but that's getting into hands. Back to arms. All right, let's say you have one hand or one arm coming forward and the other arm going back. So let's just say this one is coming forward, circle, oval, triangle. And this one's going back, circle, oval, triangle. And of course it's going to be round, like that. You just have to be able to manipulate your shapes because, and I would use a cylinder. Let's see. If it's coming at me, you're going to see inside the hole. If it's going away from me, you're still going to see the hole. It has to do with the stripes. Let me draw this because I lost that for a second. You'll see the front of, that's what I'm trying to say. You'll see the front of the hole. This is, I'm looking for another marker. You still with me, camera? If this is the front, let's just put an F here. And this is the rear. See that F? I think it was off screen. And this is the rear. This is the front, is where your hand is going to be at. If I had a big hand, I would stick it in here. So anytime something is pointing at you, you're going to see the front up, the front hole, and not the back hole, not the rear hole. Now, if it's going away from you, you're going to see the rear hole and not the front hole. If that makes sense. It did in my head. Okay, so it's coming at you. My triangle's coming at me. Here's my delt, here's my circle, here's my oval, and then here's my triangle. And of course, that's going to cut in front of it. Coming up, and then I'm going to make that circle. And this is as round as this is. And then I'm going to put my hand here. Palm, palm, and then my thumb. My thumb goes out this way, Brian. Don't worry about the rest of the fingers, because if you could get this palm right and this thumb right, then the rest is pretty simple. So now I'm going backwards, and instead of this cutting in front of these two shapes, this one's going to be in front of these two shapes. So you have this circle, you have this oval, and you have this circle here. And what you can do is just do that, as I said, with that, and then go here, and then that, and then that's the rest of your hand right there. Forwards and backwards. And of course, it's connected here with that center line. And here's your head. And of course, you can put your fingers. And when you start out, let's say this is my palm, and I'm getting into fingers again. This finger comes straight. This finger comes straight up with this. It can't really go out too far like the baby finger. The baby finger it doesn't come straight up. It's more out. This goes straight up and this comes out. So to start out, what was I doing? I'll go this finger here, this finger, and then later on this finger, like that. And then you can start adding the three. But I'll get into hands later, just simple things to do to get hands going. And there was something else that was very, very important that I was going to say about arms. Remember, when you're doing a triangle, curve this in, curve it in. Something that I was going to say. Give me a second. All right, for the life of me, I cannot remember what I was going to say, but practice these steps over and over and over again before you practice this next step that I'm going to show you. Once you have these pretty much mastered, then this comes wherever your bicep is. It's going to come down like that and go right into your chest. So wherever your bicep is curved like that, it's going to come down and go right into your chest, leaving that. But remember, get these steps, and this goes all the way back. So that's going to go all the way back. This is going to go all the way back. And you're going to have some underarm here. This is where your underarm is. And then you're going to have, like I said, you have some underarm here, and then your lats. Lats. But practice those three shapes before you cut it. And then before you actually start doing your delt shape, which connects to your chest, and this comes all the way back. With your, where's my pencil? With your, this, you have your circle, your oval, and your triangle. If you split that, that could be your bicep right there. So if you're drawing, just split it right here. Don't worry too much about your tricep for now, but just split that there. Remember, if your arm is up, your thumb is going to be there up. If your thumb, it's going to follow your thumb unless you do like that. But if you have your thumb relaxed and you bring it up, your bicep is going to follow that. So this, and it's heavy. Think of like a water balloon. If you put it in your hand and you tip it over, most of the water is going to shift this way. And if you tip it, most of the water is going to shift. And the same thing as your biceps. If I have my arms out like this, my bicep is going to be this way, that way. So just kind of do that oval in the oval first, but get these shapes down first. You have these three. Remember to cut your wrist off. And remember, this is as long as this. So you can't have like way oval here and a short arm. If you're drawing somebody with, like I did in the beginning, and his one arm is too long, is longer than the other, then just, you know, erase that and get it right. Because when you quick sketch, this is what you're going to be using anyway when you do your quick sketch. And once you know you've got that those proportions right, then you come back, then you're drawing your shape. That's what I was going to say. This splits at your bicep, splits right there. It splits this arm and this muscle. Just draw this piece of muscle because it actually comes all the way back. It goes towards your thumb, but that's when you start getting a little more better doing that, because your chest is going to be there. So again, you have this oval and it splits right here. Get a little split line and it splits that arm. So I think I'm gonna end this video here because I wanted a really short video. I cut this thing. I had to stop maybe like 7 times, at least seven times, because one of the camera, and then I lost my train of thought. So if there's anything else I can think of, I will add it to the next video. But I wanted to get you guys started with arms. A lot of people were having trouble with arms. Don't try to draw big Hulk arms right off the bat. If you have your character, camera knows I'm about to finish. If you have your character here, I told you I'm bad with positions, just trying to come up with positions just out of the blue. And there's his head. I'm not gonna say don't try to draw big Hulk arms, but just remember, if you do, just remember the 3 steps. Your delt, and you know, it's got to be the same length. And then your triangle. You know, you can do the big Hulk arms if you want, because that might be your character. And then just cut it with the wrist. Usually you're going to have a shorter forearm if you have really big muscular people. They don't really have long forearms. And then you put your hand there. Where's that fist going to go? Inside. And that's what I do when I do fists. If I do this, I'll put my thumb there. Yeah, just to let me know. And then my fingers can go like that. And you have some palm left. But that's a whole new story, depending on how you want to do your fists. So you have the big hokey kind of guy. You have your 3 shapes. Then again, you cut it. As I said, you cut it. You have your circle. You have your oval, and then you have your triangle that you cut. Big shoulders, which I never put on the guy, like that. And oh, another thing, when you have it stretched out, yeah, I was thinking about this before I started. Let's say, remember, you have your 2 pieces, one oval, split them in 2, your bicep, and then your triangle. When you put that triangle up like this, it's basically going to squish. It's going to squish some of this. So that forms the bicep. So put it up. Instead of being long like this part of the triangle is going to push this skin up. It's going to scrunch it up, which causes your bicep. This is going to go all the way here to the elbow. Remember, cut it off at the wrist. Put your arm however. And then you have your other part. And this is going to go to the chest. This is always going to go from wherever this bicep is. It's going to go down to the chest. And you're going to have your lats. And this is on that line. Remember that. And then your shoulder. So once again with this, connect those 2. Round those off. And then you have your hand. However you put your hand. Palm, and then cut that one. Just cut that one right there. This is going to be the back of your bicep. Yeah. Your elbow is going to be right here. Here's your hand, like that. And just by drawing the 3 shapes, I'm going to end this. Just by drawing the 3 shapes, this comes down into the chest, your arms here, there. Just by drawing those 3 shapes, you'll have the ability to draw your hands, your arms. Maybe I'm getting tired. So practice those 3 shapes. Those 3 shapes. See what it looks like when you lift it up. Cut your wrist. Even with your wrist cut off, it still has to be the same length as this. If you cut my wrist off here, this still has to be the same length as that. Always cut your wrist off, put your hand there, however you want to put your hand. Round these all off. And then you're on your way to doing your arms. I have other videos on arms, but I don't think I really did too much in depth, but I also explain it a little easier. The better I can explain it, then I'll do another video. So if I find an easier way to do arms than this, which I don't think, then I'll do another video on arms. So that's going to be it for arms. Just practice those shapes, stack them, rotate them, do whatever you got to do. And don't say you can't draw, because if you can write, you can draw. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to get my bell sound eventually, and I'll see you guys in the next video.